How are you? Nice. That's nice. It's kinda like a did you go with a group of people then, or That sounds great. Wow. It's crazy. Hello, hello. Hey, Slay. Oh, she left already. We already lost our only attendee. I mean, if nobody shows up, that's okay too. Like, we can just call it a day. Mm, and we'll give people a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, nice. That's cute. What Slash Dash made? I know name. You don't have to
Hey,
respond. It's okay. Hi, how's it going?
good, good. Sorry, is this a
Yeah.
stream? Is this going to be
Yes.
the where the stream is going to be? Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't if you should be able to see my stream, so you can just click on that.
okay, thanks.
Of course. You got 28 views, Sniper, on yesterday's stream. My husband is on a list somewhere for some videos from his misspent youth. Hey, not you. How's it going? Mm. Well, my husband one time thought it was a really good idea to upload a video about how to make a pipe bomb. It's not YouTube friendly. Yep, not anymore. Um, we can go ahead and start. I mean, it's okay if it's a small crew. So I'm just going to walk you guys through this, and I found this to be very helpful. I do not get to take credit for finding, like, figuring out a lot of this stuff. I'm just a person that's like absorbed all this information, and I have made it like I'm just a person that's giving it to all of you guys. So first things first, bear trap lead formations. So when you're leading a rally for bear trap, the standard typical like accepted ratio for your troop ratio would be like 10-10-80 or 20-20-60 if you don't have that many archers. However, there is this really great website that Magna found for me, that he shared with me, called Frackinator. And so this site is awesome. It's this guy who is just a kingshot nerd, who's built this site. He has a lot of different useful tools on this site, like Mystic Trials. If you're stuck in Mystic Trials and you can't get past a level, if you want to like learn more about PvP, theory crafting, stuff like that, very useful. The When you go on this website, the thing you want for bear trap is the bear ratio tab, and you'll when you log into it, you'll see that there is a bunch of math here. Do not get overwhelmed by the math. I don't do math. I have dyscalculia, so like I'm not I'm not a math person. Other people are. I love you all for it. You amaze me. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll find this very helpful just spot where you can plug in your stats, and you'll see there's a spot to plug in your infantry, cavalry, and archer stats for attack and lethality. Um, the way you get the information to figure out what your ideal bear trap leader ratio for your build, because everybody's build is a little different, right? Is you go in, like, just go into the world map and call a terror rally. Um, you do not want to call a rally. You don't want to just go and attack a beast. You don't want to go and attack like the bear, like the rebel bounty guy, the baron in your intel missions. You obviously both of those things you get battle reports for, but you want a terror rally specifically because when you call a terror rally, your hero widgets are in effect during a terror rally, which is the same as when you call a bear rally. Widgets change your stats significantly depending on where your stats are at. Um, just sorry, depending on where your widgets are at. So just know, like, you call a terror rally, and you're just going to call it with your bear trap lead heroes. Now, for me, these are not my bear trap lead heroes, and so I'm going to show you guys. I So if you have, like, most people typically have their best gear on their three main heroes. So I call, but that's not always necessarily the same three heroes that you use for bear trap. I do not use Eric for bear trap because Eric is not a good bear trap lead hero. So if I am going through this process, I'm going to unequip my infantry gear from Eric. I'm going to go to my Amadeus hero, and I'm going to put my best gear, infantry gear, on him. So it's very important. Call a terror rally so you get your widget stats. Make sure that you have the correct gear on your heroes and that you're using the three heroes that you use for bear trap. So I'm going to call this rally. It doesn't matter what the ratio is for this. Like, so don't try and use like the 10-10-80 or something like that. You can just do, I always have 50-20-30 punched in, ready to go, like typically. So I'm just going to call that rally. And you can see when you go to the rally tab, you'll find your rally here. And if you click on it, you can see you're using, that's my ratio, that's my troop ratio. This is my three heroes. You can confirm. Um, when you call this rally, you are going to want to monitor your rally. And what you're going to do is you're going to boot anybody who joins your rally with heroes. So the reason you do this is because anyone who joins your rally with a hero is bringing stats into your rally that are not your stats, and they're going to be altering the stats out from your rally. So it's very important that you monitor this rally when you do it. What I'm just gonna like what So you'll see here, all these people have joined my rally with heroes. I would boot every single one of these people and just hope that as people cycle through, during the first minute of your rally, the game is gonna keep sending you joiners. Just hope that you're gonna get some people that will join with no heroes. If not, you can just ask an alliance chat hey, can anybody join my rally with just troops, no heroes? Also, I always like to put in a little note. You can see here, if you got booted from my rally, it's not personal. I need an example for the workshop. Just put a nice little note in there. You don't have to at all if you're not an R4, but it is just polite and nice. So I'm just letting this rally run. I'm not going to make you guys watch a rally. It's just sit there for 5 minutes. But I did earlier just do a rally with, oh, and I messed it up. You can see right there. But I did a rally with just my with just my bear with no hero joiners. I have my stats from an earlier rally that I did, so ignore the fact that I messed this one up, please. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stats from yesterday's rally when I did this, and I'm just going to punch them in. You can go back and forth between your two screens if you like, however you want to do it, whatever is the best way. But again, just all you really want is that infantry attack and that infantry lethality on that report when you scroll all the way down. Um, so this is it's just a very simple thing. It just takes a couple minutes. You call a terror rally, boot everyone, all of that. While I am punching in this info, does anybody have any questions? I'm going to take the silence to mean no. Anyone?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So this is just me punching in those stats from yesterday's rally where I booted everyone that didn't have any heroes. You'll see here there's a drop down for under each type of hero. If you have someone like Elcar, for example, you want to make sure you're checking this. If you're using the hero that's included in the dropdown, you want to check that off because, for example, a hero like Elcar, he has stats that buff all troop types, not just infantry. So that's very important for Frackinator to have that in that data because it will affect whatever ratio it's going to give you. So, like I said, just going to quickly punch this in. It's very easy and simple. It's worth taking the time. I'm not using Margot or Thread. I'm using Petra, so I don't need to worry about that there. This is my archer stats. And here you can see I was using Rosa, so I'm going to check that one off. My troop type, that does matter. It's for you as a leader, not what overall troop type is. Just want to make sure you select the correct one because troops do have certain stats and things like that. So you want to make sure you're telling Frackinator what you're using. So now I have everything punched in here, and I'm just going to really quick hit create plot. Only click it once. It will mess up the site. And then you're going to have to do everything all over again. And hopefully this, we'll see. There we go. So once it loads, you can see that this is telling me that my ideal ratio is 12, 15, 83. And instead of the 10, 10, 80. So it's a little heavier on archers. It's significantly lower on infantry. Infantry really doesn't bring anything to bear. Infantry is typically a meat shield. You want some infantry for tank for bear trap, but this is obviously telling me like go heavy on like most like go heavier on cavalry over infantry. So now I have this. I always just like to take a little screenshot and just save it in my photos. So that I can go back and reference it when you go and do Castle Battle or Swordlands or KVK, something like that. Like a lot of time, like you'll do your presets in advance, and then you can lose this preset. So it's helpful to always just go in and just like have a way to reference it. The other thing is, anytime you do any upgrades to your heroes, go through and do Frackinator again for your bear trap heroes. So if I upgraded my Amadeus gear, if I got another widget for Petra, I would immediately go in and like one of the first things I would do was like before the next bear trap is do this whole process again, call a hero rally, boot all hero joiners, and punch my data into Frackinator again. And it would give me a different ratio because the stats have changed. Does that Am I making sense with that so far? Hopefully, yes. um, so now what I want to do is I want to set my presets. This is going to just make it really easy to join bear. Bear trap can be pretty chaotic, or like you can be distracted, like wanting to do something depending on what time of the day, like at the same time trying to multitask. So how I set my presets, and this is purely just what works for me, is I love to use the occupy function. This is just how my brain works. I like to see everything deployed actively so that I know that it deploys cleanly. So here's my TC. I'm just going to go and find a spare spot of land. I'm going to hit occupy, and I have my heroes here, and I'm going to punch in my ratio 2, 15, 80. No, wait, this is not, sorry. This is where you should go. So 2, 15, and 83 for my percentages. You'll see this checkbox, all future deployments during this session will use it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. You don't have to check it off. And then I'm going to go and hit save. I'm going to give this my bear lead. These are just initial. You can use whatever initials you want. It just makes sense to me. Very important is these two check boxes here. You can save by troop quantity or you can save by troop ratio. For my bear lead, I want to save by troop ratio because when I am doing bear trap, if I have Valara's skill upgraded at all, that means that my rally capacity during bear trap is higher. Um, so I want to keep this ratio. I don't want to be sending a smaller rally than I can, and I don't want to be sending like a weird number of troops that's going to throw things off. So I'm going to hit confirm here. And so now I have that saved. You can see you can toggle back and forth and see like that's all saved. And I'm going to hit deploy. Um, so that's just going to be now that's out of my town center. My troops are my heroes are out, my troops are out. This is just a very useful. I love Occupy. Like I said, it just helps me see that everything has deployed cleanly. So now I need to set up my bear trap join presets. And the way I do this, and like I said, this is what works for me. I there's a little bit of inaccuracy, like a little bit of guesswork involved here, but I'll show you guys how it works. I'm going to hit occupy again, and I'm just going to select like one of my bear trap heroes. So here it would be Amane. In Big R, we have a troop cap. So you guys can do this a little different. You guys can do this a little differently in little R. But I'm just going to say Amani is one of the join heroes. You can do them in any order you want. Most people just like to work down and say Chanko. go like just work down the list. Jan Lukashenko, all of them. I just start with Amani because most people start with Chenko, so it's nice to like when I'm joining those first couple of rallies as they're getting called, I'm bringing in a different hero with a different type of buff. We can get into that as well. Um, so I'm gonna just clear this out here for a second. So I want to know basically how many archers I have left once my bear lead formation has been sent out. So I have 462, 912. Somewhere in here, I don't have a calculator. And that was 462, 912. So just 4,000. Sorry. There we go. And I'm going to take that number of archers that I have available and I'm going to divide that by the number of marches that I have. So I have 6 available marches. So that gives me, oh, this is going to be a little, so it gives me 77,152. So for me, for this instance, I'm going to stick with what I had yesterday, which it came out to about 76,000. So if I have a 95,000 troop cap and I have 76,000 of those are archers, I'm going to subtract that. I get to 19. So I know how many archers I have now, and then I know how many how many of the other 2 troop types I need to get to my 95 troop cap. So here I would punch in 76,000. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 19,000 number that I have, and I'm going to go light infantry, heavy cavalry. I'm not going to take that number and divide it evenly between the 2 troop types. The reason for this is because, like I said earlier, infantry is kind of like a meh troop for bear. It's a meat shield. You want some infantry, you do need tank, but infantry really doesn't bring a lot to the table for bear trap. Cavalry is better for bear because cavalry is actually going to attack the bear and it's going to be your first attack before your archer's attack. So it kind of gives you that extra push and that extra oomph. So here I'm going to say 1,000 infantry. And I'm going to take that remainder 18,000 and I'm going to give that, I'm going to have that be all cavalry. So I have 1,876,000. I have Amane as my first hero in that spot. Um, I don't add other heroes because in Big R we have, like I said, we have the troop cap. You can add more heroes if you want to be able to deploy more troops. But this is just how this is how it works for me. Like I said, this is how my brain works. I'm gonna save that as my next preset after my bear lead formation. And I'm going to save this as you can see, I have troop quantity saved. Um, again, you can save by troop rate. I say by troop quantity because we have the 95K cap. If you don't have a cap, you can do it differently if you want to. You can do by troop ratio, however makes sense to you, because you will be deploying a larger deployment because of the Volara skill during bear trap. So it's kind of a personal choice here, but in Big R with the troop cap, I save by troop quantity, not by troop ratio. And I'm just going to hit deploy. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all of that again, but I'm just going to show you. So if you just go through, I have the exact same preset for all of my bear trap join heroes. And that it comes out to, so you can see, I'm just going to quickly deploy all of them. Like I said, I like to see them deployed. I like to know that it's kind of working cleanly. It makes that it's all just kind of like working smoothly and I'm not messing anything up here. Um, so you can see here, I have my leader, and you can always like, if you're like, wait, which hero did I just deploy? You can check under details when you click on your tent. So it's a helpful little tip. You can see I have all of my heroes deployed. If you mess up, you can fix it. It's like it's not hard, just recall or just fix it in your formations. So that is 6 marches. It's 1 leader formation and 5 hero joiner formations. And then what I'm going to do is I have a 6 march though that I can join with because during bear, when you call a rally, that's like a special march. So it doesn't count towards your march cap. Um, so I can do a 6 march. The way I'm going to set that one up is I'm just going to go to squad and formations. You can see, even if something's deployed, you can see all of your different formations under formations here. You can see who is in town. This says that I have 82,912. Now, again, this is not an exact science. Like I said, I don't do math to like I only do like I do math to a point. But I have my best guess that I can use. So in that case, I'm just gonna go and set another formation. And so I'm gonna say like say it's going to be around 70,000. It's a little more infantry, a little more cavalry to get me to that 95K troop max. And I would just save that as my bear, no hero, join formation again by quantity, and at least in big R because we have the troop cap. And I can't deploy this one because I have all 6 deployable marches out, but I have that set too. You can get once you get into bear and you're actually doing it live, you can mess around with it. You can go and you can try and figure out the math for it. If somebody else has a better way to do this, or if they want to figure out my math for me, I would love that help. I would love to hear what your idea is for how to do it. But like I said, this is just what works for me. So now that I have it all set up, I'm going to just recall all of these. So now I have under my formations of my bear leaf formation. I have all of my bear joiner formations, and I'm ready to go for bear. Um, when you do this, obviously, you do it whenever you have time. If you switched your gear from one of your heroes to a different hero, just make sure you switch it back because otherwise that will mess you up in arena. And the other thing to note is when you do this, do not have any buffs on. Um, don't have any of your pets, your battle, like your pets that have battle stats. Don't have any of them active. Do not have, like right now, I forgot that I have the king buff for lethality. Don't have any buffs whatsoever active. So like I should have changed that. That would have changed my stats when I went and did my rally. Fortunately, I had my stats from before, from yesterday when I did this. So just keep that in mind. No buffs. You want to know your true raw stats, baseline stats with your hero gear, your heroes that you use for bear trap. I'm going to stop there for a second. Any questions? I get a drink of water.
Bear rally leaders. So when you start a rally for bear, what are good second and third heroes, and what are stay away
For
from?
when you join.
No, for when you launch your own rally.
Oh, when you launch your own rally, yes. Um, so knowing figuring out what your bear lead heroes are is super important. There's a lot of great websites you can Google, and they'll tell you like, oh, here's the most ideal heroes for bear trap, like the most ideal lineup across every single generation. um so that's super helpful if you can just go ahead and buy and pay for every single one of those heroes every season. It's too costly, it's too expensive to do that, in my opinion, especially because one of the heroes that's going to tell you to use is Amadeus, and that's a pay to play. I don't even want to talk about Amadeus, even though I have him. So we're not going to get into that because it's not relevant across the board. But the best way to figure out who your lead heroes are is to look at this page, the skill page on every single hero. Um, you should know for your heroes, what are their conquest skills? These are the skills that are used in the Rebel Invasion, in Rebel Conquest, and in Arena. Um, these are basically the things that you do in town. So these are things that help you advance in the game. They help you know where your true power is as far as heroes go, and they get you rewards that help you grow your account. So these three are very useful, very helpful skills to be aware of, to know where your heroes are. It'll help you get more rewards in Arena, more rewards in Conquest, all of that. Expedition skills are what matter for Bear, though. So that's going to be these skills on the side here. Expedition skills take effect when heroes are deployed to fight in the wilderness map with their troops. So it's very specific. So it's with troops. So, and it's in the wilderness map. Bear counts as being in the wilderness map. It is not inside of your TC, your town center. So if you look at, for example, Eric's 3 expedition skills. You're going to have 2 or 3 depending on the hero. His expedition skills are reducing total enemy squad attack by 20%. The bear doesn't fight back, so this is a useless skill for bear. His next skill is reducing squad damage taken by 20%. Again, the bear does not fight back, so this is a pointless skill for beartrap. And his third skill is increasing squad health by 25%. So Eric is a pure garrison hero. He is really not useful for bear at all. He has no good skills that he brings to the table. It's not his strength. So you don't he's not a hero to use for bear trap. However, if you look at Petra, so Petra is one of the heroes I've been using. Her first skill is increasing enemy squad damage taken by 50%. Not really like the same with bear. Well, so she's buffing the bear's damage, like the damage that the bear is taking by 50%. This is a really good skill for bear. Her next skill is increasing squad attack by 50%. So 50% chance of increasing squad attack by 50%. This is a absolute fire skill. This is awesome. So anytime the whole squad, it doesn't matter what the troop type is, you have a chance of dealing 50% more damage. This is fantastic. Her third skill is reducing damage taken by 50% for all squads. This is a defensive skill. It doesn't really bring anything to the table with bear, but again, those other 2 skills that she has are awesome for bear trap. So it's still really important. And again, I'm only sending 15% cavalry, so it's not as much of a concern. Like cavalry is still a defensive. Most cavalry heroes are going to have some kind of defensive stat, some kind of defensive expedition skill, because that cavalry is a defensive troop type. Rosa is the other hero I'm using. So increasing squad damage dealt by 40% chance of increasing squad damage by 50%. Huge. Fire. That's awesome. Reducing damage dealt by enemy squads 50%. This is kind of meh because the bear doesn't fight back, so you don't really need. That's not really bringing anything. But then here, increasing archer's total attack by 30%. This is not a chance skill, so there's not a percentage base. This skill is always going to hit. This is awesome. Archers are the troop you bring to the table, you bring for bear. This is fire. This is a great stat. The other thing that you want to be aware of for heroes is widgets. So every SSR hero has a widget. And that widget has a conquest skill and an expedition skill. So Rosa's expedition skill is increasing rally squad lethality by 15% when initiating a rally. So this is what makes her a great hero for leading a bear trap rally. It's a buff it's there. It's always going to happen. You're always going to get that 15%, and you're going to get the same thing with Petra. So 15% increased rally squad attack anytime she initiates a rally. This is fire. So these are all stat like buffs and stats that stack and stack and stack. But they're just increasing your damage exponentially the more of these that you can get into your rally with your hero skills. For again, you kind of want to take the same thing into consideration when you're looking at your join heroes. Like we all tell you guys who the heroes are to like for joining, but there's a reason why we do that, and it's helpful for you guys to all know. So when you look at skills for joiner heroes, like you can see Margot is a joiner hero. My Margot is only 4 stars. I'm not investing in her to max her out. Maxing would be bringing her up to 5 stars. But I do want her expedition skill, specifically her first expedition skill, the one that's active when deployed in the wilderness. So for bear, that skill is the one that will apply when I'm joining a rally. So when you join a rally, your hero's first expedition skill is the only one being applied to that rally. Unlike when you're leading a rally, all 3 heroes, all 3 expedition skills are active at all times. It's not the case with joiners. It's just your first expedition skill. And it's going to be the expedition skill of the first 4 strongest joiners. So Margot is bringing to the table whenever I join a rally with her, 25% increased total squad attack. This is awesome. This is a great skill that I'm bringing to support whoever's rally I'm joining when I join the rally with Margot. Attack is different than lethality. So if you look at, I was talking about Chanko earlier. Chanko's expedition skill is 25% lethality. So you kind of want to know if you like if you're joining rallies and you have time, look at the other heroes that have already joined that rally. If you see a lot of Chankos, join with an Amane or join with a Margot that has an attack buff instead of a lethality buff. So for example, Amane, it's 25% total attack. The reason you don't want to join with a hero like Tra, 50% chance of increasing enemy squad damage taken by 50%. This is a chance-based skill. So Petra, when you join a rally with Petra, you only have a 50% chance of her skill hitting and increasing that rally. Now you think 50% is still 50%, that's great. But if everybody else is joining with Amane's, Margot's, Chenko's, and you're bringing a Petra to the table, you can debuff the rally by basically taking the spot of one of those heroes, one of those other hero joiners that has a guaranteed hit, where by a hero that has a chance hit. I hope that I don't know if I'm making sense right now. So does like someone tell me if that if I'm being confusing, because this is getting really into the detail here. This is really getting nerdy. It's talking about hero skills and things like that. Does anybody have a question about anything that I just talked about? Or is anybody like, Ghost, we have no idea what you're talking about. You're being crazy.
No, sounds all nice and clear.
Perfect. So yeah, if you ever have a question about why certain heroes over other heroes, just look at their skills, look at what they're bringing to the table, look at their conquest skills. If you're dealing with a level in conquest that you just can't beat, see if there's a hero that might be technically a little weaker but have a better conquest skill or have a better widget that is like going to be more helpful for that level. So like, for example, Marlin, I only have his widget at 4. But if you look at his expedition skills for bear, like these are fire. So 40% chance of increasing damage dealt by 50%, 20% chance of reducing enemy squad's lethality by 50%. Doesn't really matter for bear because it doesn't have lethality, but 50% chance of increasing damage dealt by 50%. Like these are fire skills. Marlin's great for PvP because specifically that lethality debuff on your enemy that you're attacking. So thinking about what type of battle you're going into. Are you going into bear trap? Are you going into sword lands? Are you going into just like fighting someone on the map? Knowing your hero skills and knowing how they affect everything is a super valuable piece of information that will get you higher in the game. You don't have to be the strongest player. You can beat a stronger player by using the right heroes. If you just know how their skills come into effect, and it's pretty awesome actually. It's pretty fun thing to kind of mess around with and figure out. Um, so we just went into a long tangent about hero skills, but that's super important for Bear to know your hero skills, to know kind of like how they're affecting different things and why it matters for Bear Trap. Anyone have any questions?
Yes, next question. Good boosts to use during bear. Some
Yes,
people use
this is
the wrong boosts.
yes. Boosts are very useful for Bear to increase your damage. The reason that matters isn't just for you to like score more points, but you're also helping your whole alliance, right? Bear Trap is a team sport. So, for example, not today's Bear Trap, but Tuesday's Bear Trap, one of our players, Spox, he was like, I've been trying to hit this PB for forever. And he wanted to hit 9.6 billion. And he's like, I just want to hit this PB. Like, he's like, I did all these upgrades for KVK and like, I can't, he's like, I really want to hit this. So a bunch of us all were like, hey, you know what? Let's do 20% buffs and let's go crazy and let's try and hit this PB to get this guy who's a really important member, who's an important member of our alliance, like a new PB. And in doing that, you get everyone else a new PB too. So for buffs, first things first, pets. These are awesome. Um, so we currently have 4 pets that are battle. So they have skills that apply in battle. Your moose reduces enemy squad health by 5%. This doesn't matter. The bear, well, yeah. So like this doesn't really matter, but you have the howler reduces enemy squad's lethality by 4%. Increases march speed. Sorry, that's the one. Increases march speed by 25%. The faster you get your troops back, like to and from the trap, even whether you're joining or leading, the faster you can call and join more rallies and get more points and increase damage. Increases squad attack by 7%. So this is a wild charge for the rhino. This is great. Use this pet. Increases squad capacity by 10,500 for 2 hours. This just makes you able to deploy more troops. Typically, these 4 pets are, if you, I wish I could show you and I had a good example. You can actually just tap on any 4 of them and say quick use. There's a quick use button and it'll just activate all of them. Even though like some of them are like, yeah, it don't really matter. Like it doesn't really apply. Just go ahead and use them all. Just be conscientious of when you're using them. If you're joining like sword lands and there's a 22, I think it's a 22-hour cooldown. Sniper can correct me if I'm wrong. You don't want to use them if you're basically like gonna make it so you don't have those skills for an event, for an alliance event, but otherwise just go ahead and pop them for bear every single time. Other buffs to use, so there's this fun little arrow on the corner. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it if you can actually hit it. So lethality. So keep in mind that these are expensive, like buffs are expensive. So I'll show you a free version of these buffs in a second. You have lethality and attack. Those two, if you use it, it's going to be 2,000 gems. If you have just a surplus of gems, like say, like, we just did the the dice event and people got a lot of gems and you're like, hey, I just want to have like a fire bear trap and you can coordinate that with your alliance, go ahead and pop both a lethality and an attack buff. If you have free ones, these ones here, the 20%, I would not use these for anything other than sword lands typically, because they cost, don't even want to use it. They cost 20,000 gems. So these are very, very valuable buffs. However, like I said, on Tuesday, one of our guys was like, hey, I just really want to get this PB. Like, can we please do this? Like, those of us who had the buffs available, were like, yeah, let's just go nuts. Let's have a good fun bear, because it is fun. The other way you can get buffs for bear is if you go into your events page and you go over to Castle Battle under appointments. There are two buffs here. There is a field commander buff. This is appointment based squad lethality. So squad again is rally. So well, it's rally or PvP, anything in the wilderness basically. This is 15% currently because we just won KVK. And if it was normal, like after Castle Battle, you see this go to 10%. It's the same thing as one of those other smaller, like 2,000 gem buffs that I showed you. Those are also 10%. Another buff that you can use is this martial buff, and you can literally you just apply for it. This is a bad example because I'm king right now, so it looks a little different. But you literally just apply, and they're open to anyone in either kingdom. And this will give you a 8% squad attack buff, plus it increases your deployment capacity by 3,750. So more troops means more damage. Pretty simple. I do tend to tell people like these ones, unless you're a heavy hitter, like save them for your heaviest hitters, because they are free. But if you're just like, hey, I just want to like have like I just want to see like how much damage I can get from one bear, like that's totally fine. Like these are, like I said, these are free to anyone in the kingdom. It's a 30-minute appointment, so it lasts the duration of bear trap. Those are, and if anyone doesn't know, there's other buffs here that you can get anytime. They're free. It's perks of especially like after like the 2 weeks after KVK, like if we win, they're bigger buffs, they're 15% increases. This just gives you more construction speed, more research speed, and more training speed. If you know you're going to be building something like during prep week, when you're trying to go up a TG level, like this is all very, very helpful. Training speed buff, like during like today during Troop Day for Alliance Brawl, like this is super helpful. It gives you 75% faster training speed and increases the number of each troop type that you can train by 300. Like it just gives you those little extra things. Initial interior healing speed if you get just like railed at an outpost battle or something like that, or during all out if somebody hits your troops when they're farming. This is super helpful. The Minister of Justice in our kingdom is on a rotation across the different main main NAP alliances. So that's locked. You can't really apply for that one. That is appointed by each alliance, says like who they want to be that Minister of Justice for the day. When it's their turn, the other thing with this one is this person can put people in jail. So you can see that's why it's locked down. It's obviously very useful, but it's locked down because people could abuse it. So that's the reason for that. But if anyone wasn't aware of Castle Battle appointments, these are super useful, free for everyone and anyone in the kingdom, aside from that one Minister of Justice one. So that is buffs. You wouldn't use any of the other buffs. You could use deployment capacity, but you already kind of have that one through the Valara skill. So I would save that for things like Swordlands and Vikings, if you have so many troops that you can't actually get all of your infantry and cavalry out of your city, you could pop a deployment capacity buff. And that would help you maybe get out at least like all of them or at least more of them. Squad defense doesn't matter for bear, squad health doesn't matter for bear, enemy attack and defense don't matter for bear because again, the bear does not fight back. You don't need to defend yourself, and enemy attack or defense, it doesn't matter. So those are not the right, like you don't need to worry about those for bear. But those are the two, the lethality and attack are the ones to keep in mind for bear trap if you want to just have like a fire bear. Basically like these tools, like so the reason I wanted to do these workshops is because bear is a lot of fun. Bear is a team sport. It is something that we all do together as an alliance. It is one of the few things, like we do it every 2 days. And it's one of the few ways that we all like come together at one time and engage together as an alliance and do something fun together. And people take it seriously because there are rewards for bear. As we all know, you get your hunting achievement points. Like these are, it doesn't seem like much, but it adds up over time. All these little perks and things and getting more hammers, like, 20 hammers or 18 hammers over the course of a month before prep is a lot of hammers. So people do take it seriously. Like, just keep in mind, like, consider your teammates. Like, make sure you're using the correct joiner heroes. Do your Frackinator for your lead march when you do upgrades to your heroes and hero gear. Just because you're going to be getting more damage, your damage is going to be more consistent, and you're going to be helping your teammates get more points as well. When they join your rally, it is just, it's a very simple way that you can have more fun in the game, learn a little bit more about the game, and contribute more to your alliance. Anyone else? Anything? Any other questions? You can ask me anything. Doesn't have to be about bear. One of the few times you'll have me captive on voice chat.
Well, that sounded all inclusive, so sounds good.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to join. I know I just like went through a lot very quickly. So if you have any questions or if there's anything that comes up later, like feel free to just message me, ask a question in Alliance chat. Yeah, go do your Frackinator, have fun.
Okay, and with this, I'll end the stream. Guys.